Are you planning on making another movie with Johnny Depp?
Well, I love Johnny, and I saw him recently, and Crybaby's on Broadway right now. He was very lovely about that. And I think probably not I love Johnny, but I think he's probably one of the biggest actors in the world today, and has probably the best career of any American actor. So I think he's probably a little out of my reach these days. But he's still a friend, and he still is a good friend, and writes to people in Baltimore and sends word to them that, you know, have nothing to do with success or show business or anything. And he fit in Baltimore very well. And I just saw him about an Oscar weekend. We had dinner. He was really lovely and funny, and has a beautiful wife. And Ireland.
Have you been to his island?
I haven't.
Another interesting thing is that Moby did the music for Cecil B. DeMille. He's actually going to be.
Well, he just did the title song.
The title song, which if the projectionist is listening, you sort of created some.
Well, I just went and he
throw them off. I think that it was actually the movie was breaking.
Yeah, you think it's breaking and everything. He took like all like bad theme songs and put them together and like scratch and like, you know, and put them like somebody was torturing the conductor, sort of. Yeah.
How did you get together with him? Was it just through your?
No, I just called him, you know, and I liked, he had just put an album out I liked, and he liked my movies, and had them very quickly, actually. Sometimes you just call people and no is free. That's something you should always remember. Don't fear asking people. I mean, if they say no, you don't have to go to jail or anything.
So there's no good juicy stories from the set that you can remember?
I'm trying to remember. No, the most juicy stories were, I remember on Friday, the publicist got busted for heroin. That was all. You know, when you're supposed to be like, kind of, he's keeping us out of the paper. I think the most radical time is probably Crybaby, because the cast, like, we would stay in this hotel and people would walk in and it would be like Joey Heatherton, David Nelson from Ozzie and Harriet, Patricia Hearst, Iggy Pop, all sitting there with Tracy Lords, and it would really scare people, you know?
Ricky Lake was an unknown then, right?
No, Ricky Lake was known because that was after Hairspray.
Oh, right.
She had been in Hairspray, and writing Crybaby was right after that. No, right after Serial Mom, she had her hit TV show. And I still see Ricky a lot. I see her all the time. She's great. She's skinny now, and I always say, you look good fat too.
And she made a movie.
She has made some movies. An independent film I didn't see. I don't know, maybe you had the festival.
We showed her in
yeah. Oh, she made her movie about birth.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I said for a gay man, that was the scariest thing.
Did you see it?
Oh, he was horrified. She almost had to get an ambulance to get me out of there. I didn't want to see her having a baby. But I did.
Yeah. A lot of people did.
Yeah. Push. Oh, God. I would be the one when they talk to women that say they're too posh to push. That'd be me.
I love old movie theaters, and then the other thing about Cecil B. DeMille is you feature in the beginning and then throughout. There's like all these great.
They were all the real condemned movie theaters in Baltimore that I grew up in. Not one of those theaters was really open except for the Senator.
Are they still there?
No, they're all boarded up. I mean, none of them have reopened. I mean, when we filmed, all those theaters at the end were one time I saw like Cleopatra in, but then at the end I saw, you know, all blaxploitation horror movies, and where the audience just put their feet up when rats were going under. It was great, and just laugh. You just hear everybody going, they just put their feet up and then like rats running.
You also mentioned that there's still one of the places where a porn theater was still running. Is that?
Well, no, the best one. There is one porn theater left. The best one closed. The Earl, where on a good night you could walk to the popcorn stand naked. It sounds good, but people were really ugly. Nude trolls. But I was for it. I didn't go a lot because, you know, well, I can't do that anymore. You know, people say I love female trouble when in a sex bar puts a damper on it.
Now, the Senator is a theater that's still running and is where you premiere all your films.
Yeah.
Is there any other theater you wish you would reopen?
Well, certainly the Earl was the one that closed, the porn theater. The Apex is still there, where it's so dark, you walk in, you can't see, and you just sit on someone's like, ow, excuse me, because it's so dark, you can't see anything. Well, the Boulevard, there was lots of ones I grew up in, but that's everybody has them. I mean, but there's very few theaters that look like this. A great, beautiful movie theater that feels like a real movie theater that a William Castle movie could play in, and you could shoot it here, and it still looks correct.
This actually wasn't a movie theater initially. It was like a Masonic temple.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah, but it looks like a burlesque show.
Yeah.
Could be. I don't get stadium seating unless Ben-Hur's showing. I don't get what the big deal is about that. The people love that.
The what, stadium seating?
Yeah, like in all these malls, they want stadium seating. Why? I don't get it. I mean, people don't wear beehives anymore. You can see.
Maybe it's the subtitle movies.
I don't know. I don't get it.
So, I mean, you're working on a new film.
Yeah.
I mean, you put out in the last few years some CDs.
Oh yeah, the CDs, yeah. The New Line went out of business. A terrible
Yeah, let's
thing.
talk
The
about
New Line
that.
Cinema went out of business. So, you know, they made Lord of the Rings won all the Oscars. They just put out this weekend Sex and the City, a huge hit, and they're fired for that. I don't get it. Everyone's fired.
So they didn't make enough money in between.
I
Those
guess.
companies made more money than.
And they had a record company, and they put out a lot of my soundtracks, and they put out the John Waters Christmas album and A Date with John Waters.
Is that
And they were playing Breaking Up with John Waters, which I think would be the best one. Because most music, good music, is not about functional love, it's about fucked up love, really. Who writes a love song about how great it is?
Do you think that's going to be, I mean, it's obviously going to be more difficult because Bob Shea, who ran New Line and sort of had autonomy, you know, released your, one of your first films that got out into theaters, Pink Flamingos, and then, you know, was behind many of your other films.
Yeah, and they were, you know, they were great. I mean, they were sort of my home, certainly. They didn't make all my movies, but they made A Dirty Shame, they made the last one. And so it's a big, when I used to go pitch movies, I would go in there, be 20 places to go pitch. Now there's about 4. Because every company's brought everybody else in, and you know, it's much harder. And now it's harder to make movies, and they want every person to be a star in it. And they tell you that in this country, this star will make this much money, and they have to sell the foreign rights. Which, if that was true, every movie would be a hit.
Right.
But I'm whining. I'll find the star they like.
And he wasn't really a corporate culture guy. I mean, after I think into Toronto, I should know if I say this, but you took everyone to a gay strip club, and Bob Shea and the entire cast.
Well, yeah, that was it. What's that place called? That is a good one. And Selma Blair was there, and she said they were gay, but from the looks of it, they didn't mind seeing me. She told that on the Tonight Show. Because they're totally naked. And yeah, and I had the party there, and the publicist at New Line was really upset. Said, "Don't let this, can't be in the papers," because all their wives were there and everything. And they were fine. Yeah. Well, it was for that movie, correct?
Yeah.
It was about sex addicts, the movie. But what's that place called?
But I wouldn't imagine anyone from Warner Brothers, you know, going to.
No, I've gone to Bob. I mean, I have gone to sex clubs with Bob in the old days. But he talked about it when I got his award at the Directors Guild. He said, how about the nights we went to Hellfire? And I thought, oh, well, I wasn't going to bring that up. But the next day, Variety called and said, yo, what's this? I said, well, call him, don't ask me. But not that we did anything there, but in the old days, you could go to those clubs with mixed friends and nothing happened, but they were pretty crazy. This was in New York in the 70s. And Hellfire was one of them that we did go to. And that club was certainly, what I saw in that club ended up in A Dirty Shame, certainly. But I saw a lot of Jerzy Kosinski was there every night before he killed himself. Did you ever go there? It was good. They had 2 bathrooms. One you pissed on people, one you didn't. We all have bad nights.
So, can you tell what? Moving on to what? Can you talk about your new film or what? Can you talk about your new?
No, I have a lot to talk about. It's all children in it. I say it's sort of the Little Rascals meets Viridiana. How's that for a catchy pitch? No, it's mostly a children's movie. I don't want to talk about it yet because you have to talk about something so much after you do it. But I'm hoping to shoot it as a Christmas movie, so I don't have the budget to have fake Christmas. I have to have real Christmas when everybody has their lights up. That's really a big, benefit in the budget. You do a street and everybody's got their lights up. You don't have to put them up.
Well, I think we have to wrap. So, I don't know, is there anything else you want to say?
No, just thank you all. If anybody in the audience even liked one of my movies, thank you very much.